Welcome back to Weekly Top Trends. This is a podcast where we dive into the hottest topics. These topics are making waves around the world. I'm Gabriel Jensen, your host, and joining me today is the always insightful Maya Morteca. How are you doing, Maya?
Great, Gabriel. Thanks for having me. It's been a whirlwind of news this week, so we've got a lot to unpack.
Definitely, let's kick things off with Donald Trump. His economic policies have been a hot topic, especially the tariffs. There was a surprise truce announced on May 10th, but a baseline levy of 10% on imports remains. The IMF has cut the U.S. growth forecast because of these tariffs. What's your take on this, Maya?
Well, Gabriel, it's a double-edged sword. On one hand, Trump's tariffs are meant to protect domestic industries. On the other hand, they're causing global trade uncertainties. The IMF has revised its forecast. This is a clear indication that the current policies are having a significant impact on the economy. Plus, with a 25% tariff on imported cars and parts, the automotive industry will face significant changes. It's going to be interesting to see how the automotive industry responds.
Exactly. And let's not forget the potential second major tax reform, which could add trillions to the U.S. debt. We're already at $36.2 trillion, and this could push it even higher. It's a risky move, especially with the current economic climate.
Definitely, and domestically, Trump's approval rating has been fluctuating. It recently hit a low of 42%. A majority of voters hold him responsible for the state of the U.S. economy. His America First agenda and focus on bringing manufacturing back to the U.S. are bold moves. However, they come with significant risks.
Speaking of risks, Trump's administration is it is moving to dismiss federal oversight agreements. These agreements are with several major U.S. police departments. This could have serious implications for law enforcement and community relations. What do you think about this, Maya?
It's a controversial move, for sure. The federal oversight has been crucial in ensuring accountability and transparency in law enforcement. Dismissing these agreements could lead to a backslide in progress made towards police reform. It's a delicate balance between maintaining law and order and ensuring justice for all.
Moving on to international relations, Trump spoke with Russian President Vladimir Putin. He also planned to call Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. Some observers believe Trump sees normalization of Russia-U.S. relations as an end in itself. Your thoughts?
It's a complex situation. Direct negotiations with Putin could potentially de-escalate. However, it also raises concerns. These concerns are about Trump's approach to foreign policy. Critics argue that his methods are too unilateral and lack the nuance needed for effective diplomacy. Plus, with the war in Ukraine still ongoing, any moves towards normalization need to be handled with extreme.
Exactly. And looking ahead, there's speculation about Trump's future he's floated the idea of running for a third term, despite constitutional limitations. His son, Donald Trump Jr., has been mentioned as a potential successor. It's an interesting dynamic, isn't it?
It certainly is. A third term would be unprecedented, and it raises a lot of legal and ethical questions. Donald Trump Jr. has been quite active in politics. It is not entirely surprising that he is being considered as a potential successor. It will be interesting to see how this plays out.
And let's not forget the Stop Trump in Crypto Act of 2025. This bill targets Trump's involvement in crypto ventures. It's a fascinating intersection of politics and technology.
Definitely, crypto has been a hot topic lately, and Trump's involvement adds another layer of complexity. It will be interesting to see how this bill progresses and what impact it has on the crypto landscape.
Shifting gears to the European Union, they've been facing some economic challenges. The EU executive has lowered the 2025 economic growth expectations for the Eurozone. It has lowered the expectations to 0.9% for the Eurozone. The EU executive has also lowered the 2025 economic growth expectations for the broader EU. That has lowered the expectations to 1.1% for the broader EU. These revisions reflect concerns about global trade uncertainties. The concerns are particularly focused on those stemming from potential tariffs. The tariffs in question are those imposed by the United States. Your thoughts, Maya?
It's a tough situation for the EU. Global trade uncertainties are a significant challenge. The potential tariffs from the U.S. add another layer of complexity. The EU remains a major trading partner for the U.S. Any disruptions in trade could have far-reaching consequences. Plus, with the war in Ukraine and broader geopolitical threats, the EU is focusing on bolstering its defense capabilities, a security action for Europe. SAFE Fund is a 150 billion euros initiative providing loans to member states for rearmament. It is a clear indication of their commitment to strengthening security.
Precisely. The EU is also seeking defense partnerships with countries like Australia. It aims to forge a united international response to global crises. It's a proactive approach to addressing global instability. Plus, the recent UK-EU trade deal allows UK companies access to the European Defence Fund. This could benefit the British defence industry.
Exactly. Internally, the EU is grappling with various policy issues. 17 of the EU's 27 member states are re-examining the legal basis of a trade association agreement with Israel. This could potentially lead to stricter trade conditions. The EU is working to streamline business operations within the bloc to attract investment. Proposals are expected to encourage companies to choose Europe. These proposals will also facilitate the expansion of smaller businesses across member states. However, internal divisions persist on issues such as innovation and migration. Member states hold differing views on these issues. This is particularly true when it comes to key policy directions.
Moving on to Joe Biden, the recent news about his health has been a major topic of discussion. He was diagnosed with an aggressive form of prostate cancer that has spread to his bones. The announcement has elicited a range of reactions. These reactions range from well wishes to renewed scrutiny. The scrutiny is of his health. The scrutiny is of his health during his presidency. What are your thoughts on this, Maya?
It's a difficult situation. Biden's diagnosis has sparked a lot of concern and support from various figures. Among them are former Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Barack Obama. However, there are also questions about the transparency of his health during his time in office. Some people, including Vice President J.D. Vance, have suggested that Biden's health issues were not transparently communicated. It's a sensitive topic and it raises important questions about the health of our leaders.
Precisely. Medical experts have noted that a cure is unlikely given the advanced stage of the cancer. However, treatment could potentially manage its spread. This management could extend for years. Biden is reportedly at his home in Wilmington, Delaware, with his family reviewing treatment options. It's a challenging time for him and his family, and our thoughts are with them.
Definitely. And speaking of challenging times, let's talk about Elon Musk. He's been in the news a lot lately, from his commitment to Tesla to his ventures in AI and space exploration. Musk has stated unequivocally that he will remain Tesla's CEO for at least the next 5 years. He is aiming for sufficient voting control to prevent removal by activist investors. This announcement follows speculation about his potential replacement. It aims to reassure investors amidst concerns about his divided attention.
It's a bold move, and it shows his commitment to Tesla. He also mentioned plans to scale up the number of self-driving cars on the road. This will start with robotaxi trials in Austin, Texas. These trials are scheduled to begin by the end of June. Beyond Tesla, Musk's AI startup xAI remains a focal point. While he isn't ruling out a merger between xAI and Tesla, he emphasizes that such a decision would require shareholder approval. His legal battle with OpenAI, accusing them of abandoning their nonprofit mission, continues. It's a lot to keep track of, isn't it?
Definitely Musk's space exploration company, SpaceX, is also in the news. It has plans for another launch attempt of the Starship rocket. This rocket is a crucial component of Musk's vision. The vision is for colonizing Mars. SpaceX's valuation has nearly doubled since Musk's endorsement. However, Musk's political activities continue to cast a shadow. Tesla's underperformance has been linked to growing consumer concerns about Musk's political leanings. Some observers suggest that Musk's political alignment could create obstacles. These obstacles could affect Starlink's operations. The potential impact is specifically on operations in South Africa. Despite these challenges, Musk's net worth remains substantial. It is estimated at $424.7 billion. This wealth is primarily derived from his stakes in Tesla and SpaceX. Some analysts even predict that Musk is on track to become the world's first trillionaire.
It's an incredible trajectory. And finally, let's talk about Google. They've been heavily focused on their advancements and integration of artificial intelligence, AI. This focus is across their products and services. It is particularly within their search engine. Google is actively redesigning its core business to maintain relevance in the age of AI. Alphabet, Google's parent company, is asserting its commitment to personalized agentic AI across its products. A key development is the introduction of AI mode in Google Search for all U.S. users. It aims to provide more complex answers. It also facilitates deeper follow-up questions. This includes AI-generated summaries or overviews integrated into search results. Testing is underway for ad integration within these AI-driven responses. What are your thoughts on this, Maya?
It's a significant shift for Google. AI is becoming increasingly integral to their products. This move shows their commitment to staying ahead in the tech game. However, it also presents challenges. Google faces the task of ensuring AI doesn't negatively impact its advertising revenue. Google's greenhouse gas emissions have increased, complicating its net zero goals. There are concerns about the accuracy of information presented in AI-generated search results. There are also concerns about the truthfulness of this information. Despite these challenges, analysts anticipate continued earnings growth for Google. This growth is driven by its leadership in AI. It is also driven by its leadership in cloud services. Google's strong brand and position as a leading hyperscaler further support its growth potential.
Exactly. And let's not forget about Bitcoin. It's been a wild ride lately. Significant price fluctuations, institutional interest, and ongoing discussions have marked this period. These discussions focus on its fundamental units and vision. Bitcoin reached new all-time highs, trading above $109,000 and even briefly exceeding $111,000. This surge was fueled by substantial inflows into newly approved American Bitcoin ETFs. These ETFs attracted nearly $1 billion in investments. This signals growing mainstream acceptance of digital assets. Publicly traded companies like Metaplanet have continued to acquire Bitcoin. They have been adding it to their corporate treasuries. This has further driven demand. However, Bitcoin has also seen pullbacks, retreated to around $106,000. This indicates the market's inherent volatility.
It's a fascinating space. A notable development has emerged. It is the proposal to rebrand Bitcoin's base unit. This base unit is currently known as the Satoshi. The proposal suggests renaming it simply as Bitcoin. This proposal, spearheaded by Synonym CEO John Caravallo, aims to simplify Bitcoin transactions. It is endorsed by Jack Dorsey. The goal is to improve usability, While some argue this change could erase over 15 years of education surrounding the term Satoshi, others believe it mirrors the familiar concept of cents in a dollar. This, they believe, would make Bitcoin more accessible to newcomers. The Bitcoin community celebrated Bitcoin Pizza Day on May 22nd. This day commemorates the first real-world Bitcoin transaction. The transaction took place in 2010. So this event serves as a reminder of Bitcoin's evolution. It has transitioned from a niche digital currency. It is now a potentially revolutionary financial asset.
For sure, mergers and acquisitions within the Bitcoin space continue. Kindly MD has merged with Nakamoto Holdings. Nakamoto Holdings is a Bitcoin native company. The merger has created a publicly traded Bitcoin company. This entity aims to raise $700 million to increase its Bitcoin holdings. This reflects a growing trend among companies. They are integrating Bitcoin into their core business strategies. Despite its increasing adoption, Bitcoin remains a topic of debate. The original vision of Bitcoin as conceived by Satoshi Nakamoto is at the heart of this debate. Some argue that Bitcoin has deviated from its intended purpose as a peer-to-peer electronic cash system. They believe it has evolved into a digital gold for storing value. The identity and intentions of Satoshi Nakamoto continue to fascinate the Bitcoin community. They also influence it. Ongoing discussions focus on Satoshi's potential reactions to Bitcoin's current state.
It's a complex and evolving landscape. Thanks for having me, Gabriel. It's always a pleasure to discuss these topics with you.
The pleasure is all mine, Maya. That's all the time we have for today's episode of Weekly Top Trends. Be sure to tune in next week for more insightful discussions on the latest trends shaping our world. Until then, stay informed and stay curious. Goodbye.